How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Retro Rewind Days of Old podcast, where we talk retro games. And when we talk retro games, it means that we're going to live stream it after as well. Now, I got to be doing this one on the go because I'm a busy guy and podcasts still need to be recorded. I'm currently driving while doing this episode, and on this episode, we're going to be talking about Lord of the Rings: Return of the King for PS2. That'll be the first game of Season 2. Now, it's been a hot minute, right? Last season was almost a year ago. As I've said before, sounds like a freaking broken record. Life has happened, and yeah, but life needs to stop being an excuse, in my opinion, because life's going to keep happening, and I'm really getting sick of it taking over everything else, so to speak. So with that said, we're going to continue with Season 2, and the rest of the seasons to freaking come. So for Season 2, just so everybody knows, the games will be as follows: Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, Def Jam Fight for New York, PS2, Fatal Frame 3, The Tormented, PS2, and the finale of Season 2, which was picked by our viewers themselves, is Pokemon Red for the OG Game Boy. All right, black and white. I think it had some color too, I'm not sure. But yeah, anyway, hope everybody's doing well. You can find us on Twitter, YouTube, and of course, Twitch. I'm not sure when the first stream for Lord of the Rings: Return of the King will start, so make sure you follow our social media, because you will be notified there when the stream will happen. Hope everybody's having a good day, and yeah, let's get into it. So Lord of the Rings: Return of the King came out for PS2, I believe Xbox, and GameCube. I played it for PS2. I didn't have it for any other console. I don't think it came out for PC or anything. It was released 2003 alongside the movies, I believe, which was also the prequel. I think they call it a prequel, even though it's the third game to the Two Towers. I think they did a game for every movie that came out. I haven't seen the movies. I've seen half of the first one. Don't judge me. I fall asleep every time. It's not that they're boring to me. They're just fucking long. And I get tired easily. Okay. Well, I'm a busy guy. I get tired. So my experience with it, it's pretty simple, really. I think at the time I rented it from a Blockbuster. And if everybody remembers, when you rented a game or a movie or something like that, you had, oh gosh, I think you had like the weekend, 3 days maybe, to watch the movies or beat the games. And then you encountered late fees. I always encountered late fees, even though my parents paid them, because it was always their account. But I never usually beat the game in time, unless it was a pretty straightforward A to B game. Yeah, I beat it the Lord first of the Rings, night, and then I think being a buddy of me, pretty straightforward. A buddy? Was it a buddy? Maybe my sister. I'm not 100% sure. Somebody else played it with me not the other day. Wow, my tongue is broken. First day of my new tongue, guys. I haven't podcasted in a year. It was either my little sister or a buddy of mine played it with me the next day, because you can do the whole campaign co-op, and it was a hack and slash, your basic hack and slash, but it was really good. And if I'm not mistaken, it followed the movies pretty well. It was chopped up, but it followed the movies pretty well, and it went into like a live action cinematic into the game, which was at that time pretty funny looking, because you could tell the difference between live action in a video game. Now half the time you can't even tell that you've left the cutscene and went into the game, which is pretty badass in my opinion. But back then you could definitely tell. But yeah, the game, for somebody who hasn't really seen the movies, the game was fantastic. Lord of the Rings: Return of the King has a very fond memory for me. I never played the other two, Fellowship of the Ring and Two Towers. I didn't play those ones. I don't know if they have the co-op feature or anything like that. But I would assume that they're just as good. Oh, I gotta try and get over here. There's an accident, people. Dang. Ooh, it's a bad one. Ooh, it's a real bad one. Oh gosh. I hope everybody's okay. Dang. Oh, well, anyway, everybody looked like they were all right. Yeah, but I would assume that they were just as good. I love that you got to play through different characters and stuff like that. I remember some of the big war scenes in the game when you got to play them out like hundreds. It was, when I think about it now, I'm actually quite shocked at how much they were able to get on the screen for that generation of gaming. So, like, good on them. The game didn't look fantastic. It sounded fantastic. That's one thing I remember about it. The soundtrack, they kept the original soundtrack, of course. The sound effects, it sounded fantastic. I wouldn't say it looked fantastic, but for its time, it looked pretty good. But it sounded great. Other than that, I don't really have much to say about it. I wonder what the sales were like. I would assume pretty good, because the movie sales were fantastic. But the worst part is that most of the time when a movie comes out and they make a game about it, the game is shit. The game is absolute shit. There's only 2 other games that came out based on a movie that I really enjoyed, and I'm sure at some point we'll end up getting to them in the seasons of Retro Rewind, and that's Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire version. 3 was kind of shit. I didn't like 3. 3 was shit. But first 2 were pretty badass. But we'll get into those one day, I'm sure. So I'm looking forward to going through Lord of the Rings: Return of the King again. If everything has panned out in their, relaunch of Retro Rewind, the 20th of March should be the first stream of Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, if everything pans out. But don't forget to follow our Twitter account for more information on that. So, yeah. I don't really have much more to say. Sorry it's taking so long to get to season 2. I know it was supposed to drop June 8th, obviously. That was a long time ago, and that did not happen. So, yeah. Season 2 is still going to be fun. I'm still looking forward to it. I've been longing to do season 2 for quite some time now. Right? You got a good game lineup, and it's going to be pretty badass. Pokemon Red is going to be really long. We're going to be streaming that for quite some time. That game is massive, so that should be fun as well. But we'll get to that. Hope everybody has a great day, and thank you so much for listening to Retro Rewind Days of Old podcast. You can catch us pretty much anywhere: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. I'm pretty sure it's called Google Podcasts. There's a whole bunch of them. You can pretty much catch us everywhere. So have a good day. Enjoy everything. Yeah. This is Retro Rewind Days of Old podcast in my car. Take care, everybody. Stay retro.